Hey man, how you doing?
Uh, in my closet.
Yeah.
I couldn't find my green screen, so I just wore a green shirt.
You just put a green shirt on. Yeah, there you go. I got it.
Hey, Dracula. See.
It's Dracula.
Wouldn't that be a cool shirt if you could do that? Anyway.
It'd be great. It'd be great if you could do that just walking down the street, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just
Yeah.
play whatever you want. Right off the top, I had to ask you something really important.
What?
What are your thoughts on Alec Baldwin?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
You know what?
Oh.
I'm gonna put this out twofold.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something that's gonna be incredibly controversial. um, I think I think that Don't Die. I'm 100% sure that that's not. I mean, it was a horrible accident.
But now this ruins the movie. Not that I was looking forward to Rust that much, but if I watch it now, it's like watching the Twilight Zone and knowing that somebody's head got chopped off with a helicopter. It's like, and now I know somebody got shot on Rust.
But wait a minute, who loaded that? Who loaded the helicopter with live rounds? That's what I want to know.
It's whoever put the gas in the engine of the helicopter. That's the culprit.
Exactly. That guy. That guy. That is your guy right there.
No, wait, wasn't it the caterer that fed the pilot?
Yeah.
We're actually reviewing the new Dune, and I don't think I really need to explain what it's about.
2021. Oh my God.
I know. I don't know where to start.
I loved this so much. For one thing, I was a fan of Dune the book, and then the 1984 version with floating Tubby.
But yeah, it was Sting
came along, and oh man, yeah, with Sting. I'm telling you, that was kind of a hard pill to swallow. But this was amazing, just amazing. I could not even analyze it. It was so good. I mean, I couldn't analyze what was a practical effect, what was a real effect. I couldn't analyze what the shots, why one shot was better than another or something. I was just totally sucked in.
Yeah, no, I thought the effects were great. I like the Omnithopters; those were really cool.
Oh man, right?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, there was one thing though. This is the most niggling little point, but I liked the worm in the other Dune better. Just the worm. I mean, just the shots of the worm coming out of the sand, I thought were better done in the David Lynch version. And
this looked like a carpet inside out, like rolled up.
Right. Yeah, it did. But other than that, I mean, all the rest of it, everyone, and Zendaya's eyes done blue like that. She looks amazing.
Don't you think this was still a little bit kind of awkward? Don't you think the story was a little bit awkward though? Like still, even though it did a really good job of explaining, I understood this a lot more than I did the 1984 version. But I feel like it, and why did they explain the worm so much? They did a lot of exposition on the worms. So I thought that was a little much, but I thought it was a little messy, kind of like the first one was.
Here's the thing. The story was so much clearer.
It was a lot clearer, yeah. But I think it was just a little.
The story was.
Don't you think it was a little?
No,
it was kind of plotting. It was like it was taking its time to like explain. I don't know. It just seemed a little slow, and it was a little disjointed in places. That's all I really had a problem with.
You know what? That's just an indication. That's just an indication that you never opened up your Boone's farm to let it breathe.
I always smell the cap. Oh, this is a nice vintage. Well, and the old Dune, the 1984 Dune, had a better cast. It was full of people that weren't really stars yet at that time, I guess. But it was an amazing cast, and this one,
Yeah.
they did a really good job with this one, actually. But I kind of like the cast of the old
Yeah.
one. But no, this had a great, like, I mean, even the director, you know, he has a good background. He did Blade Runner, 2049 Blade Runner, the one that just came out about, what, 3 or 4 years ago? And he did Arrival.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then Eric Roth, who did Forrest Gump and Curious Case of Horse Whisperer, blah, blah, blah. He helped write the screenplay. So I think that's why the screenplay was so much better, because you had people that were really good at writing screenplays. But no, I agree with you that I like this one a lot better.
The story this time was so much clearer. There's an enormous problem with the story of Dune. In order to shrink it down to anything at all that's concise, like a film, you have to sit down and decide what you're just going to cut out of it. Right?
Yeah, well, Sting's character was cut out.
Yeah, and you know that there were like, what's he doing these days?
Well, he probably can't run around without a shirt on nowadays, probably.
Yeah, probably.
What do I know? He's probably in better shape than I am.
As far as I can tell, he's in a New York apartment being angry.
Oh, yes. Only murders happen in the building.
Oh, yeah, only murders. But man,
but Blade Runner 2049 was such a prettier movie. I mean, didn't you think? I don't know. You're a production designer. Don't you think the color palette was a little bland?
But here's the problem, and I thought about this. The problem is that you're on a planet that has nothing but sand. You know, the sand has a little bit of a glint of orange in it. You know, and that's the spice itself. But that's a pretty intrinsic problem. I loved it when you got underground and you had those striations that were in there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They just I don't know.
I guess they use flags and stuff to have some pop of color, like with blue or orange or whatever, you know.
Or flowers.
I just thought the costumes are all kind of monotone. I don't know. I'm nitpicking at the moment.
Yeah, you are really You know, you're trying to be a very dark human being. You know.
I am. I'm a terrible person overall, but you know what?
Yeah, overall.
I found somebody to put up with me. I really liked the soundtrack because of I think my internet's unstable at the moment, like I am. But no, the soundtrack. Toto did like the one. Toto did the one in the 80s. the band Toto. Right. But this was Hans Zimmer, and he actually turned down working on Tenet to do this one.
Well, and the guys who did the sound design.
Oh, sound design, yeah,
was astounding. I mean, by the way, did you have the problem of this? Is that the background and the sounds and the music and everything would get so loud that they would virtually drown everything out for a little bit? You'd be hard to understand what the hell was going on.
And they were whispering when they were talking in some parts, and I was like, "What?" They couldn't hear what they're saying.
Yeah,
I was watching this really late last night.
But like I say, and I just got finished watching it, and I was just I was astounded. They did just such a great job. They trimmed and edited the story down so much, and they got it so concise, and it's a very hard story to get concise.
What was that? I was reading about this Chilean director. I didn't know anything about this, but he was trying to do Dune back in the 70s, and I guess they just released it.
Have you seen that before?
No, I've never seen it, but apparently he had a script that was like long enough for like 14 hours of movie time.
I saw the I saw the there was a documentary about the non-making of that film. but it's great. It's great when you're comparing it to another thing that you can say things like, "Oh, this was going to be so much better than that." This part here was going to be so much better than Dune 1984. You know, and you're like, Are you sure about that?
That was my first I probably went into this with not an open mind, really, because I was like, okay, it's probably another director trying to improve on what, David Lynch did, trying to make it better. And, I think that was probably part of it, but also he wanted to make he wants to make 2 films. So it was like based on how well this first one went. And the director said he was pissed off that they put it on HBO Max because he wanted to be theaters. So it would be successful in the box office while, so he could make the second movie, which I think he's going to be able to do, I think. Just my opinion. I don't know. Who knows?
I'm sure
I'm
he
usually
will.
wrong.
It's number 1 right now. I'm sure of it. Yeah, no, I have no complaints about it. Whether you've read the book or not.
Yeah. It's actually, I would watch the first one and then watch this one because it's so crazy how different it is. I found on the trivia, I found this thing about David Lynch talking about, he was whining. He was like, I have zero interest in Dune 2021 because I had so many issues with that movie. The director's great. He could do his own thing, but I have painful memories because it was a heartache for me. I didn't have Final Cut. He was, I've told the story a million times. I didn't have Final Cut, and it's not the film I wanted to make. So that's what he's saying now.
Yeah, well, you know what? The camera was rolling at the time.
Right, yeah. And he had some control over things, I think, a little bit when he was shooting it. Oh,
gone somewhere else.
I had a little problem with the fat guy, the guy that floats, because he looked like Jimmy Durante, and he just was kind of like a fat Jimmy Durante in the sauna.
Yeah.
At first, I'm like, what?
Well, and it was hard. It was difficult to see how he was floating. It's funny because that was also a little bit of a part. I have to say that to a certain extent, the guy in the first one floated a little bit better. Although there were several times that the guy in the 1984 version, it kind of looked like he was spinning and floating a little bit the wrong way every once in a while. But you know what? I'm not going to be a quibbler here.
Well, I feel like I should read Dune because halfway through this, kind of like the last time I watched Dune, the 1984 one, I kind of stopped caring for a while. I'm like, oh, I just want to go to bed. I don't care about these people. And then I kind of got back into it, and it was partly because of the effects and watching the, it was pretty. It was a pretty movie, so I was into that, and I was into the sound. I was definitely enjoying the music. I think Hans Zimmer did a really good job.
Yeah. Well, the thing is the other one had such a weird mix of almost good and just absolutely terrible.
Right.
Shot by shot. It was more of a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
Definitely than this. This one, it had stability.
Yeah.
I really appreciated it quite a bit, and the fact that you had the mother and the son, which are your primary characters, and it did essentially stick just to those two.
Yeah,
for the most part.
And the mom was great. She was great. I don't think I've seen the son.
And they were both very charismatic, and carried the story.
No, they did. I thought they did a good job.
Yeah, at least I didn't look at him and think to myself, how the hell did they do that to Kyle MacLachlan's hair?
Actually, I had that thought at first. I'm like, okay, so if Kyle MacLachlan grew his hair out, maybe it would look like that.
I don't think so.
Well, his 20s maybe.
Yeah.
I was actually really wanting to see Sting, but apparently they cut that out. I mean,
well, you know what the thing is in the book, he really is a kid, right? That overcomes being a kid in the course of the film.
Yeah, becomes a man. He makes a journey.
The weird thing about Kyle MacLachlan is he never looked like it. Kyle MacLachlan never looked like a kid. He just looks like somebody put, a young man's haircut on him.
No, totally. He looked like a guy in his 30s who was hanging out at the high school, basically.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what he looked like.
No, but that was the character arc. It was perfect for both the mom and the son. the way they did that, the way they broke it down on the character arcs. I'm doing
Yeah,
character
absolutely.
arcs.
Well, in the end, they did streamline the story to being just those two, and how the whole calculation of the story reacted around those two.
Yeah.
Which was probably, now that I think about it, that was probably how they tamed such a huge beast of a story.
Yeah. Well, they did. He was planning on making 2 parts. I don't know where he's going to go, but I think I'll probably hang in there for part 2.
I'm just gonna sit, and I'm not even gonna turn my TV on until part 2 comes along.
Oh, okay. Well, So what are we gonna review? Are we gonna start a book review podcast?
I just won't watch them.
Let's start with Dune. Give me some time.
I won't. You know what? I will just judge them by title.
Okay. Oh, that actually might work, because there's some really bad titles for some really bad movies.
There you go.
I want to see this guy do more sci-fi. The director, this is like its only like 3rd sci-fi movie, I think. So I want to see more of this director for sure. I really like Blade Runner. I think I like Blade Runner 2049 a lot more than this, but you can't really compare them because they're totally different. But anyway.
No, I like this better than Blade Runner 2049.
Really, I thought Blade Runner 2049 was so pretty. Like,
it keeps the Earth balanced.
well, you can like your left Twix, and I'll take my right Twix, and there you go.
There, exactly. So I'm way up there. I am like 4-7.
Wow, that's probably one of the highest things.
I could not have been more happy. I've always wanted them to redo Dune after the last disaster. I never thought that when they did do it, that it would be this good.
Well, the Chilean guy, they released his movie. You haven't seen it yet. It might be better than this one. Who knows? You might get that at 5.
Trust me when I say it is not.
I don't know if I'm as high, because I'm trying to think. Like, probably one of my favorite movies is Blade Runner, the first one. I would give that a 5 for sure.
Right.
I'm probably like a 4.2 or something. Like, just kind of look at how that lady's looking at me. She doesn't like my rating, but she's gonna have to deal with it. 4.2.
that looks pretty tragic there. Hey, so I was at Scarefest. I wanted to tell you this great story about it. So first of all, Bruce Campbell came out, and he saw me hanging there with my dog, and I know Bruce, and and we got to talking, and he goes, "You need your dog is shivering. You need your dog needs a support dog." So my support dog needs a sport dog. I was thinking of going with a gerbil. What do you think?
That actually would be really cool.
Little gerbil with a vest that says service gerbil.
I want to see you go on a plane with that. Gerbil. Yeah. Do you want to play with that?
I was sitting right across from like the second mic area. Like there was 2 areas. There was one all the way on the other side of the building that was big, and it was so that they could have speakers and panels and stuff like that. But then the other little one was right across from where we were. But this was the one that they put all the conspiracy theory wackos, and it's so weird, because I have to tell you, I mean, there was a new one every hour, and they would they all talked exactly the same way. So everybody, let's get together here, and we all need to go around, and so we all know that it was 1947 when that was 1947. I know 1947 when we call him the slant man. The slant man came down, and the slant man was, and man, the thing is, he talked so soft that you couldn't hear anybody, and then I had a panel right there, and and I got up and I just blasted it out, and I walked up to the mic, and I thought the mic must be barely on, right?
Yeah, like it's turned down.
Right. And so I go, "Ho!" to the mic, and it literally, you could hear it all the way in space.
I think I heard that.
Whoa! I was like, Jesus Christ! They're always doing this with the hottest mic in the world. But so I go back and sit down, and I think it was the girl's name was Helen Fielding, that was right next to me, and she goes, "That was freaking hilarious." You know, she says, "Man, I just can't stand all this guys that have been there all day, and you were absolutely hilarious." So I just wanted you to know. I wanted everybody to know.
That's awesome.
That I'm hilarious.
You're also very loud.
I am very loud. There's just no doubt about it.
In fact, you don't even have your mic on right now. I don't know how I'm hearing this.
Really need a mic, but I did put it to good use.
Right. Well,
Well, you're only 2 hours away.
I know, it's kind of weird, and I have a horrible connection.
Yeah.
My connection was better when I was 2,600 miles away.
And you have a horrible. Usually, you've got the better connection than I do, and this time it's the other way around.
Exactly. Well, I'm in a closet. What are you gonna say? I mean,
yeah, there you go.
At least I have this.
So,
this is my soundproofing. You like it?
I like it. It does work really well.
I have a box over here.
Hey,
let's see.
there's you know, the sound can't get it. The sound can't bounce around and get lost because the room's too small.
I lost my shirt. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's back. Look, I'm wearing a suit.
Set it all off. Well, this has been
a weird episode. Actually, the last Dune episode, did you listen to that? Because I thought it came out pretty good. Our review of the first Dune.
Yes, it was a very good interview. That was a good episode. Yeah.
So listen to that episode. Listen to this one, of course. Well, you already listened to it, but listen to the first one, and then go. If you already got to hear,
if you already got to hear, then you probably listened to this one too.
Probably.
And just let it be known that I was an absolute jerk at the very beginning of this, and I'm proud of it, and you will never hear that.
No, I might cut it out. We'll see. Yeah. Sometimes I have mercy on you, usually. Like when we first started, you used to say a lot, and I spent a lot of time cutting those out.
Yes. Yeah. You know what? This is really true. I did. I mean, and I did finally get over that. That was a really hard battle with myself to stop doing that.
And I was spending hours cutting them out.
Yeah,
I think one time I took one episode, I took like 10 minutes of ums and ahs and put them together, and I sent them to you.
I was really embarrassed when I noticed that you were having to do that. I was thinking, yeah, why can't I finish the sentence? You know?
Well, I found out that I was doing the same thing, or I'd say something, which I did in this episode. I'd say something with a definite fact that I end it with, I don't know.
Yeah.
Which I totally know. I'm just saying. I don't want to brag too much. I know everything.
Are we done with this turkey?
Yes, I think we are.
Okay.